All right. So basically, this is before everyone going to start your job hunting, right? The first thing we're going to think about is, okay, what is my career? So if we talk about career, right? So assuming, okay, this is engineering now, and you happens to be a hardware engineer, okay? So you're graduating from a master's like 22, 23 years old. And most people actually, you are graduating, you are retiring in US is like 63 years old or 60 65. So you have roughly like 40 years of your career. Mm-hmm. And among the 40 years, typically your peak will be when you are reaching your 50 years old. That's kind of, like a very, very high level if you look at your career. So when you're planning your interview or job switching or your career, you have to look into the long scope and fitting your expectation and your goal accordingly. So my recommendation typically, okay, when I talk to a lot of folks, I was telling them, okay, so before you're 30 years old, right? Everything's wide open. Just do anything you are interested. Okay, try anything if you have interest on, no matter you are good at it or you are kind of like a shy in the experiences or knowledge, doesn't matter. Okay, give it a try. So from 30 to 40, that's kind of very critical time to building up your true foundation of your work. And so for the 30 to 40, it's not only you like something or something interested, you should also doing something you are good at it. So that's a combination of the two. Okay. So after 40 years, if you still have things like, okay, I'm still have multiple choices options, I would recommend you basically really focusing on things which you are really good at. So you have to, narrow down your interest. You really have to focus because your career peak is typically at, the end of your 40s. So after, basically once you reach your peak, right, after like 50 years old, it depends on. So you can take a right to reaching additional, extra mile of your career to reach into, even higher position or so. For most of individual contributor as an engineer, after 50 years, you kind of like, most people actually saturated. Your experience has been saturated. Your learning curve has been saturated. So you are gradually maintain the level. And then if you're after 55 or going to 60, you're starting to prepare your retirement. So I know it kind of sounds like too far for most of the young folks, but I do want to give you a perspective, right? When you're looking back at the end of your career, when you're looking back, you will see, hey, this is a phase 1, phase 2, phase 3. Am I planning my career properly? I think this is kind of a different angle from people who is older than you. When I look at my career, when I'm making every single movement or decision on my career, that's all the questions I have to think about. Am I doing the right move? Is this the right timing? Is this the right area or right industry? So that's kind of from high level. So now back to this topic, right? So if you're a fresh graduate student, when you are very young, so honestly, you have more choices. Your world actually is wide open. You can do a lot of things. People will less judgmental on your experiences. They're more looking for your attitude, looking for potential. So you can utilize that, your age advantage and also your passion, your everything you have as a young graduate or you as a junior engineers, and to taking it right? So as your age grows, your experiences will dominating in the position selection. And for the hiring managers when they review you, they're gonna be more based on your experiences. So this is one thing, the first thing on the high level I wanna mention. So once you go into job hunting, right? So you will typically know, hey, this is kind of area, what's the position I'm looking for? And there will be like two types of different hirings. Number one is general hiring. Number two is specific hiring. So general hiring is much more popular for the junior engineers and much more popular for a software engineer. So you are going to a talent pool, right? Once you're hired, first round, you're going to a talent pool. And after that one, you're gonna have team pair, right? So you're gonna have team pairing to identify your future managers. And most likely, so this kind of job, you may have a rotation where you have much faster turnaround. So maybe one group, you're kind of saying, okay, I already done this, I wanna go to another team. So that's kind of general hiring based hirings. So for most of the hardware hiring, it's actually specific. In a sense, a hiring manager have a clear ideal candidate in his mind. So he already knows what he wants in most cases. So they are looking for the candidates with a specific list, which is highlighting the job posting, or will be highlighted in the interview process. So once you're meeting the goal, you're meeting his, the requirement bar, and you'll be hired. So this are two different things. So I personally, I only participating in a specific hiring, especially for my team or for my my brother teams or so. So I will majorly focus on specific hiring today. So if you want to see more about general hiring, I think I don't have much to share. So I will only focus on specific hiring. So once you decide, once you decided again, right, you have the job in your mind, you're gonna go. So you're gonna facing two key person. One is recruiter, one is hiring manager. So recruiter typically will be the first one to screen the resumes or selecting the candidates. So he's going to provide a list of people giving to the hiring manager, and the hiring manager will do the second round screening and to decide who I want to go for the phone screen or who I want to go with the following actions, right? So recruiters, their job is looking at resumes. So in order to getting their interest, the most important thing is one thing called keywords. So the keywords typically is being given by the hiring manager. So every time if I open a job, so the recruiter all the time reaching out to me, say, hey, Chen, what is actually your keywords for your position? Of course, I'm going to writing him a very short paragraph regarding the job description. This is very tricky now because for most of the job right now, it's actually kind of secret. Okay. If you want to go to Amazon or Apple or Google, Facebook, those kind of like a big company, right? They will now tell you, hey, which project I'm going to hire you for. So they'll give you a very generic description of the positions. Okay, so that's why when you see a job posting, for example, for my team, right, I see RF system engineer, and it's really generic. But honestly, I'm only hiring people for the 3G or for the 5G, for example, like 5G cellular experiences person, right? So, but you won't see that. Only see, I only want to hire 5G. So that's kind of tricky. So your keywords, basically, you will have to kind of searching. Basically, you have to prepare yourself and to match those kind of keywords. Those keywords still gonna be stated in the job posting. So you have to filter in those keywords and also align with your resume. So this is a very important thing going to a recruiter. Another actually even more efficient way is going to the hiring manager directly. So you can bypass, because recruiter, their job is actually filtering or selecting a list of candidates, giving to hiring manager, and the hiring manager will further narrow down. If you have luxury to directly go into hiring manager, you actually don't have to go through the recruiting procedure. So if you have luxury to have someone in the organization and to providing you an internal referral, that's most likely going to be more efficient. This is based on my experiences. So when I see internal referral, it's not mean like, hey, this person will tag you as someone he know in the internal systems. When I see internal referral, it's actually someone really send an email, including your resume, to the hiring manager and tell him, hey, this is some guy I know. Do you want to consider him for your position? I can guarantee you, at least so far, I do open 100% of those kind of emails if it's referred by my colleague. I don't even know most of them. I have zero interaction with them. They have my email. They contact me, attach their resume. 100% of the time, I do read it. I give them feedback immediately. So that's kind of working relationship, right? So manager will do that. So if you know people like that, tell them, hey, it doesn't mean you just click a button in your system, get a referral, and you can get your referral bonus. It's not like that. Because even you have a referral tag on your in the recruiting system, it doesn't mean much to the recruiting managers, or it doesn't mean much to the hiring manager, because I don't even know who the person referred you. I don't know the person. Okay, I don't know the internal referral person. I don't have a relationship. I don't know how much I can trust. In a sense, it's like even you have a tag there, it doesn't differentiating you much. So if you know the hiring manager through the internal referral, that's going to be the most efficient way. At the least, hiring manager will open your resume and read it. Okay, so second part, you apply online. So does that mean you don't have to apply online? No, not necessarily. Okay, you should still do both. Okay, but if you can reaching out also in LinkedIn, so nowadays I can guarantee you every single hiring manager, we do have a LinkedIn account. every single recruiter, they spend maybe like 80% of the time searching around, going through LinkedIn. If you are still in school, if you're a student in school, please register a LinkedIn account today. And also writing down whatever classes, whatever project you have done. So that's going to increase your opportunity. So this is really, really important. Okay. And also I have been randomly, approached by LinkedIn. A lot of people just send me, hey, Chen, I want to know, do you have an opening, or can you refer me to some opening, or can I make a connection? That happens. Most of the time, I'm going to accept. Okay. If someone basically not in my area, I'm probably going to reject, or I'm going to ignore. But most people, if I see, hey, this is a guy have a potential, and also can potentially join my team or have a career crossover in the future, I do accept. And then you can start into writing message to them. I will see maybe like even once the manager are too busy, there may be high chances they won't reply you. But it doesn't matter. Okay, so what, right? You just reach out and try. It doesn't hurt you. Okay. So this is actually referring like, yeah. So let's go into the last one would be the resume. So how are you going to write a resume? I think every school, or you should have a resume workshop, right? You just go there. You should go there. Okay. To learn how they're going to do it. One thing I realized is like most of the time, once I go to the college, job fair or so, all the school tell you, hey, write a resume in one page, just in one page. It's actually not necessarily true. Okay, at least not for me. Because when you see, okay, I have this class, I have that one, I have a GPA, it's just really on the surfaces. If you have some details about one or two projects you have done, which you can really show off, right? You can really showcase. It's actually more attractive to me. If you have a lot of, volunteer work, which can show your qualification, it also can be attractive. One page is actually more for recruiter. Okay, so recruiter, when they see your resume, they look at the classes, they're looking for the keywords. Okay, they're looking for keywords. And then forward to hiring manager. But at a hiring manager level, if you only have one pager and very, very, high level guidances, it's actually not really helping you to differentiating people. Of course, if you see, hey, I'm the first rank among my class, I have a 4.0 GPA. Of course, those kind of things definitely gonna stand out. But if you are kind of like, okay, above average applicants, it doesn't really, differentiating you a lot. So if you have some internship projects, and also if you have been working for a while, right? So your focus should be really highlighting what you have done, how your internship, how your working recently works. So that's going to be the most interesting things hiring manager will look at. So for Amazon position, most position I have been dealing with, one position roughly I have like 50 to 100 resumes, depending on the skill sets and levels. Typically I have 100 applicants. So you can see you only have one people will be selected among 50 to 100 people. So how you can differentiate yourself to the rest, and how you're gonna boosting your chances. So yeah, so I think this talk maybe can give you some hint.